Have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Claims request form for 10/28/14 in the amount of $1,661.20.
I move approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. As you all see in here, this is basically your commissioner's pay and everything, and mileage and the whole works. That was nicely done, Brenda. I like how that looks. I asked her to do this. There's been questions in the past few months of items. I'd like to have this here, Commissioner's claims request form done and approved at a regular meeting of every month. That way, if any questions come about by other commissioners, you can all talk about it amongst yourselves. I have an approval on a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Opposed?
So does that mean we're only paying the commissioners once a month?
I'd like to. That's how I like to see it.
I would second that motion.
Robert can't make a motion.
I can.
Yes, he can.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I did research that, and yes, I can make a motion. Yeah,
That's never been.
had to look in the new Robert's Rules of Order. It's a
So,
whole new section, people.
commissioners,
So anyways, we have first on this one here, the approval of this one for $1,661.20. So I have a first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
I'm opposed.
You're opposed? Okay. Do we want to make that claims request form motion right now? Which I'm willing. Okay, claims request forms to be done once a month. It's supposed to be done in the format that it is right now.
Second.
And second, I'd like to have mileage separate, and I'd like to have the commissioners, of course, like what Brenda has in here right now. I think it's a wonderful thing. That's the motion. I have a second. Discussion?
I personally have
Go ahead.
made some evaluations of some of the things that are going on. I absolutely refuse to go to the planning meeting down at the county for the wire, as it's probably one of the most boring, nonsensical things that I've ever attended. It's a great way for commissioners to increase their monthly income, but it's not doing anything to serve the community that we were elected by. Secondly, I question the WIRA meeting, or the meeting that I removed from the agenda, the webinar, for two commissioners to go over and sit in the office for 48 minutes and watch a presentation that is in no way centered towards anything to do with this district. Secondly, there have been restrictions put on the commissioners from attending the WIRA process meeting, which two commissioners can only go because they're supposedly, they can't have a quorum. Well, first of all, I talked to the attorney that rendered that opinion, and he did in fact tell me that he said it was our responsibility to post that we were going to send a quorum to a meeting, not the meeting place. If all of us can't go to that meeting, I would suggest that we do not participate in it at all. I talked to Bob Carmichael, and Bob Carmichael, he's done an excellent job with showing us the history of everything. I have absolutely no more questions anymore about the past. However, he did say, Tom, we're stuck in the mud. We can't go any further right now. And you know, I can tell you that I'm here for one reason, to stop the things that I can stop. But I, just like the serenity prayer, I have to understand there's only so many things I can control. And basically I can only control me. But I really think that we need to review the meetings that we're going to and paying commissioners for and decide whether they're worth it or not. And that's all I have to say.
Okay. Motion's been on the table and it's second.
I seconded it.
Yep, it's been second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
I just have
Okay.
one question for you. Why do you think that a commissioner can't get a check on an earlier voucher?
I'd like to have the voucher at this regular meeting to where if any commissioners have any questions, and it's come up in the past.
You don't think they're capable of reading another voucher?
Because if the voucher is approved earlier, there's not much we can do about that voucher.
Sure.
If the check's already been paid. And I don't see a harm in it doing it right at the monthly meeting. And it be a lot easier on this office staff, having to do it only once a month.
Would you mind repeating that? On an earlier voucher, there's nothing you can do about what now?
Well, if you've already been paid for it, how are you gonna,
But every meeting that is on an earlier voucher has already been pre-approved.
No, it hasn't.
Oh, yes, I have the resolution, or the motion right here made by you specifically that says each year there are this is the December 2013 motion where we made for the following year to attend meetings. Each year there are meetings that are held on a regular schedule that pertain to district business. The commissioners throughout the past years have attended to keep up on continuing education. A motion was made that any commissioner in 2014 wanting to attend Section 3 Small District Committee, WIRA 1, Emergency Management, or any other meeting in importance be allowed to do so and to receive commissioner's pay and mileage. All were in favor. Motion carried. All those meetings are already pre-approved to be paid.
Well, I
Now,
think,
if you want to come back at the end of and say, well, now I don't want to pay you that you've gone, well, then we've got
no,
to go.
No,
it's amount of $5,000.
Otherwise, it's right there. I don't care if it's
No.
25.
I don't,
This board has the right to review charges before they pay them.
And you already approved those.
No, I'm going to withdraw that
Well,
today.
no, you can't withdraw it.
Can't
Okay,
withdraw it.
Oh, yeah.
so we have a motion and a second.
I just asked what the concern was.
I'd like to see it done, because I had to sit here and go through some vouchers in the past, and it's been awful confusing for the staff.
But I just want to be clear, they're already approved.
Well, that's fine, but I don't see why we can't approve it once a month.
I got no issue with that. I just
So,
wanted to be
and I think
clear.
it'd be a lot easier on the staff in the office. I wanted to research a few things myself, and I tell you right now, the vouchers, it was really hard to understand when you're getting two different payment areas, and it's been hard on the staff. And if there's any issues with any commissioners about mileage or anything, it should be talked about between the commissioners themselves and not the staff. So, approved and second. The piano's playing. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Who else is opposed? You're opposed, Phil?
I'm thinking, because I don't really oppose it, but I don't approve it because of the point that's been made of the fact that we have had, we've listened to one side of the issue or a discussion as one person felt it. And I felt until such time it was completely aired and that's what we have contracts for, and we pretty well spell out what the staff will furnish under administrative amounts or things. I don't know if that's an issue or not. So I guess I would, on the basis, I would say that I would just recuse myself because I have some real mixed feelings about it.
Okay.
I don't know what the issue is, but I feel that it's we're getting too involved and we should go on and accomplishing what we came here to do, and that's to manage the affairs of the district.
Okay, so it's sustained, so nothing's passed. Correct? Tie.
2?
2-2.
No, it's 2-1.
No, it's 2-2.
Well,
Yeah, because
Robert
of
only votes in a tie.
the political move of reclusing yourself from a vote ties it up, and it's an impasse. So,
Well, no, actually, I think it passes, or it doesn't pass.
That's right. That's
It
what we're
doesn't
saying.
pass.
It doesn't pass.
he's got his 3
Yeah, but
votes.
Okay, very good. So I guess you get to deal with it every month or every other week. All right. Minutes for a regular meeting, December 23rd, 2014. Need a motion, please.
Move to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second? Second?
Minutes?
Minutes?
I can't.
Oh, yeah, you weren't here. Yeah, sorry.
I second.
That's okay. Normally, you're right there to second it, Phil.
But I can't this one.
She did.
These two are reading
Yeah.
through them at the moment.
Oh, she said second.
She seconded.
Oh, did she did? Oh, I didn't hear a second. She said 1 minute, I
I
thought.
did.
Oh,
I
Oh,
thought she
you
said second.
said a minute?
Second the minute. No, I said second the minutes.
oh, okay. Maybe I said 1 second.
No, I.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, Brenda, up to you.
All right. So I think everybody starts off with water.
I hope so. That's how it comes in order.
So water, this is through September, so you guys are 75% of the way through your year. And you're currently tracking at 61%.
70% through?
75.
75. Thank you.
Any questions on water?
Excuse me. Okay, continue on.
Wastewater through September, again, you're at 75% and you are tracking at 63%. We did remove biosolids last month, so you'll see that. I don't think it's in this one. Nope, so you'll see that next month. So any questions on wastewater?
Motion, please.
I move to accept the water and wastewater report as presented.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, carry on, please.
So the next one is your treasurer's report for the month of September, and this balances back to QuickBooks and your cash position.
Okay, so we're approving the treasury report.
Yes.
I move we approve the treasurer's report as presented.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, cash position.
Next is your cash position as of the end of September. Total investments, just a little under 260. Total cash, just over 90 for a total of 350,000.
$439.
Right. It's
That's for information, it's not for approval?
Yeah, so it's just rough number in it.
Any questions? Okay, continue on.
The next one is your petty cash. We had a withdrawal merchant services for Visa charges. We did lien, and then just a couple days ago, Phil purchased some chainsaw oil for about just $15.21. So I had two commissioners, I believe Tom and Richard, signed the check to reimburse Phil for the chainsaw oil. So looking for reimbursement for $156.38 for the petty cash.
Move approval.
Excuse me. Second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Alrighty, carry on.
All right, the next one's your age receivables as of the end of
Yep.
collection, sorry. As of the end of September, breaks it down by sewer and late charges, water and late charges. At the bottom, it gives you a running tally per month. And I'm not sure what happened to your sewer fees for the month of September, but they should be there. They're at the top, but not at the bottom. I'll correct that for next month.
What do you mean it's supposed to be more than 7,000?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a flag.
yeah, sorry. I didn't catch that one.
Alrighty, and that was
That's
for
review.
information?
Yep.
Any questions? Carry on.
Aged receivables, shows you the difference between September 16th, October 16th. In September, we processed 12 credit cards for about $2,400. Any questions?
Information again, any questions? Carry on.
The next one is your delinquent accounts report. I've got a payoff request on 30007, which is the old Blue Well in place over on Blackbird. And I think that's actually the only update since the report went out.
Getting information, any questions? Alrighty. Public forum.
I missed that part. Hey, I think you guys are doing a good job.
Nothing?
On the roundabout, there's going to be a public meeting November 17th at the school. You're putting it on.
What time?
I think it's at 5 to 7 or something like that.
Oh,
At Kindle?
Yep. DOT's going to put it on. Basically, it's going to be an informational thing.
5%.
They're also studying the landscaping in the middle of the roundabout, which is, I didn't realize how complicated that
What
is.
roundabout?
The one that's going up there by the library.
Is it definite that they're gonna do it?
Oh, yeah, it's a done deal.
Okay.
You're gonna take that little church out?
No.
No.
No, and, no, it'll be on this side of the church. They're taking part of the church's parking lot, apart from Starvin' Sam's, and about the library where their sign is, I think they gotta move their sign and whatnot. And they're right now negotiating with the property owners. The only thing that could really hold it up for 1 year is if the property owners' negotiations don't go through in a timely manner. But if that goes fine, then they're gonna plan on doing it this summer, start construction this summer. One of the big issues is how they're gonna deal with traffic while it's under construction.
that would be a little interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
and whatnot, so that might be kinda interesting. On the trail, we're waiting, it's one of those real big things, we've got application in for a planning grant. Know about the first year on that. And that's the first step that we have to go through, then we apply for a construction grant after that. And we've got a bunch of college kids that want to come up and work on it and do layout and the plan, probably this spring. And they do it for free. And it's an engineering school program,
That's the 17th of November,
is the meeting, yeah.
7 o'clock.
By
No, I want to say
December.
5, Jackie, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of posters around and stuff. So I want to say it's at 5 to 7. But you know, I could be wrong. I doubt it.
Not you.
No, I know.
No,
I was thinking, you know, that's a bad statement.
Alrighty. Anything else, Shorty?
And if they pay Sam enough, he'll give up some of his property.
What's that?
But only if they pay him
Oh,
enough.
Actually, Sam don't want any money.
Yeah, he's
Wow.
unbelievable, I'll tell
No,
you.
Now he's got money.
well, he might have changed his mind. I've talked to Sam twice on it, actually, and he doesn't really want any money. He's negotiating for more access on his driveways. Because
I
they
knew that to be
actually, the
something.
state wants to shut down one of his access. They like only one driveway.
One in and out.
He's got 2. So Sam is, he's pretty shrewd.
Yeah,
So he's saying, keep your money. Just leave me alone.
That's Sam.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's Sam.
That's
Yeah,
Sam,
that-
yep. I knew he'd want something, if not money.
Alrighty.
Lebanese horse trader.
Kelly,
and that's how I got
off
where
to
he
you,
is.
please.
This is a report for September 2014, water. Flows are up by about 20%. Well depths are normal. Water quality is good. We've had some minor complaints. Work was done on the fence around, oh no, that's a wastewater, sorry. There was some work done on, or at least a look at the telemetry. Did the quarterly groundwater sampling. Any questions on water?
What were the complaints?
Well, a cold meter and flush line, just maybe low pressure.
Okay, carry on.
Wastewater, we're down about 19% from last year as far as flow goes into the treatment plant. We removed biosolids from the lagoon number 3 in September. Did some fencing work at the treatment plant. Nothing much more
Is
than
the
that.
gate fixed now?
Yes.
I heard it came off its tracks.
It did come off its tracks and it's not quite fixed.
It will be though,
Yeah,
before winter.
somehow it lost its cap and it got lost somehow in the parking lot. We can't find it. So Northwest Fence, when they came up to repair the fencing at well number 2, we noticed that it was gone. So they put in a work order. So it's just a matter of them getting that cap. The wheel, everything is there. It's just actually the wheel's falling off.
Were you able to look at the film and see if somebody took it?
It's actually Gary. When Kim was on vacation, it happened.
Oh, okay.
I got a garage full of wheels. That could happen.
Hey Kelly, on the water and wastewater, you've got 79,000 water and 40,000 wastewater. In September, a heavy irrigation month, or is there something else going on? It could be, and September was a pretty big month.
I don't know, you know, our unaccounted for water is kind of staying high too.
Any ideas why, or just still looking?
I mean, unaccounted for water means it's leak.
Nobody took a shower this month.
That was the account.
6% to 29.
Anyway, just a comment.
Yeah,
Okay, anything else, anybody?
surely not coming back to the plant, is it?
Okay. Brenda, back to you for business management report.
Okay, so there's a meeting log in your packet, and then I just kind of wanted to review the holiday schedule with everybody. Phil, you grabbed your packet right before it was done. Sorry.
I don't have one either.
What is it?
Hold on. Do I even got a calendar going to that? 13,
Need
12.
this one?
That's what we're doing right now. So I just wanted to mention that the next meeting in November is on November 25th, 2 days prior to Thanksgiving. Is everybody going to be around? Did you want to reschedule? As long as everybody's going to be around, I just wanted to make sure everybody knows it's the Tuesday
25th?
just prior to Thanksgiving.
Right. I'm here.
I'm here.
December's meeting is December 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, the night before Christmas Eve. I just want to make sure
23rd.
everybody's aware, if we're going to make any changes, we have to make them now.
No, yeah.
Why would we?
I'm just,
No, I understand.
No,
what
I mean,
you're saying.
I'm just saying,
I'm just letting everybody know in case some people go out of town for the holidays
Yeah.
and stuff, and I wasn't sure.
If a quorum wasn't here for the holidays.
I'll be here.
Now the
Yeah.
I'll be here.
Yeah, we'll be.
No, let's
God
get to go to nobody's going
Yeah, we
to
could
Arizona or
relax.
nothing
Okay.
warm.
I wish.
So it's still on the 23rd.
23rd.
Mm-hmm.
All right, looks like we're still going. Okay. Brenda?
I believe that's all I have. The auditor is, you guys are in an assessment audit now. We got all that taken care of, squared away from last month. I can't think of anything else, just
Did you
that.
do the score too? Oh, sorry. Okay.
You know, I'm concerned about our delinquent accounts. We're up to about $40,000.
Want to go back to that page?
The one that we have,
The long-term ones?
Yeah,
that we have liens against everybody?
yeah, but
Go back to that one.
it's climbing and maybe we need to try small claims court or something.
I think they're just going to issue a judgment based on,
Well,
What
our
we
experience,
present.
Tom, is that when we file small claims court actions, a lot of them go away.
Well, I was hoping that he wasn't gonna suggest foreclosing because
I'm not.
No.
properties, if you'll drive around and look at them, there, you wouldn't even
I'm
want them.
not suggesting foreclosing.
So we can actually small claims court, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, or a couple of them?
Is your team gonna be able to handle this, Kelly?
Yeah.
And how much would you estimate that each small claims action's gonna cost the district?
It won't cost the district anything because the delinquent account pays for it.
Eventually.
I know that,
It's probably an hour of time.
We're about to lose $8,000 of that.
you don't know that for sure.
Oh, okay.
It's-
You don't
look,
know that
it's-
for sure.
it's
But I know
dangerously
that
high.
some of these, you know, I know that 30041 is foreclosure, 30111 is foreclosure,
30 what?
30041.
Yeah.
30111 is foreclosure.
301, okay.
So is 10115. 20001.
Which was that last one I understand?
That's foreclosure. That's Susan, the dog lady.
20011.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
2001, okay. She done it
So we may or may not get money, or, yeah, we will.
Yeah, we will. It's just a matter of time. You know, I know that they're foreclosure, but until I have, you know, I've got notification that it's gone into foreclosure, however, the property hasn't changed hands. I mean, legally according to the website, and so that's why you haven't seen the name change. I mean, Leroy Still's property has been in foreclosure. There's signs all over the property.
I'm sure Brenda knows, Kelly, what does it take? I was told it takes anywhere from 12 to 18 months to foreclose. 12 minimum.
We're not talking about foreclosing.
Wait,
Well,
yeah.
That gets
Oh,
things
the
going. so we
people
can
that are
see our money.
foreclosing, right.
Well, then what we ought to do is take the top 5 and start filing the court action against them,
And if they're
so they
getting
get the
foreclosed-
message. And
Question, Tom, for you. That excludes the foreclosure ones, right?
really, to tell you the truth, no. Because if they get into foreclosure court and the court dismisses all of this stuff as a result of the foreclosure, then we lose our money.
Utilities, well, I mean, you never know what a judge will do, so I'm not gonna argue that.
I don't know that I would recommend the foreclosure ones, but I think ones that are not foreclosure, if we take the top
Top
five.
5 of those, that's what I
Yeah,
was thinking.
yeah, see how
I
it
just
goes.
wanted to make
It may
sure.
be a different circumstance here, but it's paid off in other places when we do that.
So the liens will
liens-
protect us?
Yes. Hopefully. I mean, that's as much as you can do.
Right.
This one for Richard Bartholomew, he's the highest one on here.
If you wouldn't mind,
2622.
Jackie, if you wouldn't mind, use the account numbers, please, not the names.
I think Brenda will have to go through and determine who's in foreclosure and who's not, and then pick those 5, and then we'll file this small claims action against them and see where it goes. But I need your approval to do it.
I understand what you're saying, Kelly. I think I'd like a little bit more time to research the properties. I believe, you know, the homes are vacant. You know,
All of these?
yeah, there's nobody living there.
Is everyone, all 16 of them?
Well, except for the ones that are on payment plans. Richard Bartholomew, that property,
Account number?
No, that's
2062.
not one we're considering.
It's okay.
20062.
So there's 13 that are vacant.
2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
20057. Well, they're making payments that are almost paid off. So,
I would like to move ahead, so with that in mind, though, I would like to make a motion to the effect that after you research it and find out exactly where we stand, then you pick the 5 and notify us.
Which 5?
She'll pick them out.
Or how many ever? spit that out of my mouth if but
So we can move forward.
Well, my only question for clarification is what is a judgment gonna have any more force than a lien?
You rarely go into mediation with this. You generally, they'll come and pay.
Well, I know that, I can pick out half a dozen here that I know they're not, they don't care, they're letting them go.
Well, I think that's what needs to be sorted out here. I think
Yeah.
that way of thinking is represented.
And that's why I'm asking, does a judgment have any more power than a lien?
That's a different question.
I don't,
the judgment goes with the person.
I don't think that it's gonna do us any good to get judgments, when there's already a lien on. But I do think that you're at almost 2 months worth of,
Now that I heard this comment here, that the judgment goes with the person, well, once that property gets foreclosed on or stuff, that bill stays with the property. That bill is not gonna follow the person.
again, this isn't about necessarily getting a judgment. It's about letting people know that we're just not gonna let them sit.
Okay.
So were you making a motion or were you asking?
No, I was making a motion, but if it doesn't get a second, it dies for lack of a second.
So there's a motion on the table. Is there a second? Okay, dies for lack of a second.
I think that Brenda's already agreed by her statement that she's gonna look these all over and find out which ones are potential. And that should be left with the office.
And then maybe get with us next month to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does that
report
work?
back to us.
Okay, does that work for you, Kelly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
Alrighty. Okay, Kelly, we'll go over to the valves, capital projects update.
Valves, I'm still waiting for a quote from a diving company, and I did not receive that today, so that needs to be tabled.
Okay, have a second?
Second.
Favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next one.
Telemetering is way beyond what I ever expected it would be.
Am I reading that?
You're reading it right.
I'm like,
How much?
only 240 for that.
240 for the most capable, and
Yeah.
130,000 for the alternate.
I think we put a lot of secondary cases.
I could go out there and dig a ditch for that.
Yeah, all of us could go over and read the damn thing.
We actually asked Howard to give us a price to bury conduit up to the site, because that's one of the problems is you've got to get electrical up there, and I think he wanted in the neighborhood of 50,000.
50,000 to get-
80,
Well, here it is. 50,000 to get line up there on the alternate, and the best one was 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was this here.
yeah.
That's just to get the line up there.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
have to ask you one more time, and I know you've probably told me twice. But why in the hell do we need it?
Well, it's not screaming at us, but we have a buried signal cable that's doing that work now. And when that breaks, then we're not gonna have control, and it's several thousand feet where you don't know where it's broken. So it becomes quite a job to try to trace it. So it went way beyond what I thought it was gonna cost. Obviously, it's not a necessary choice at this point, so.
Well, I'd make a motion that we table the telemetry and continue to investigate it and see if we can't get the cost down to reasonable.
And then finally,
Sorry.
excuse me.
Second? Okay.
I guess can you clarify that a little bit more? Continue to investigate? Do you want us to do something further?
Well, I don't think we should, even consider a bid as foolish as over $100,000, but I'm not saying that it wouldn't be handy to have it, but I know one thing, the number one person that's gonna benefit is the developer. And this is maybe one of the things that we're gonna need some help with. And,
I'm not recommending that you do anything with it at this point. I think it just needs to go away. And if we want to resurrect it.
well, either table it or
Yeah,
dismiss it.
No, it's, I'm.
Okay,
I'm
so it can
definitely
come
about
off
it.
the agenda?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Okay.
We have to make a motion. Everybody's good with it. Let's move on. Okay, Kelly?
Under new business, you remember last month that we reported to you that Mark Henderson was up and concerned about our sampling practices. And so basically, we need 2 refrigerated composite samplers. They're running about $6,000 each.
Well, he said around $5,000 last year, or last month.
Yeah. So we need 2 of them.
A refrigerator from Sears won't work?
Not a good idea, Robert.
We'll put an inverter on the thing and it can run right off the pickup. Just, you can buy a refrigerator for $1,000.
Anyways, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So, are you raising your hand?
Yes, my only question is, we've gone 2 years, we got 2 awards for doing everything perfect for the past 2 years. This guy shows up and says, I want it done, and we're gonna spend $10,000 without asking why, or what have we done to be so successful in the past 2 years? Can't we mimic something that we've already been doing?
Yeah, he did the same thing to us when I first came on the board with that, all the stuff that he did. I mean, even before Kelly came on board.
I mean, is this a one guy, when he says jump, we have to jump? Is that what you're
He's
saying?
our
It's
region.
DOE.
You got it.
The flip side of this is he could say, well, everything that you've done for the last 2 years was wrong and it's invalid.
Right.
So,
Okay, we have a test well that he demanded up gradient of our drain field. Okay? Now he wants us to have an elaborate refrigerator in a truck. You know, they send me my insulin in a styrofoam box with the ice things in it. Now, why can he dictate? I think I would appeal this to somebody else, maybe one of your friends, and
well,
No, I meant the friend, I wasn't laughing at you. You have a valid
we
point. I was laughing at
can
the friend part.
we can always invest in ice and,
we don't even have to. You can get yourself any kind of container that you want to get. And those little freezer bags, they have them now down at Cash and Carry for less than $1 a piece. And we put them in the freezer. And just when he's got his samples, we put them in the box.
But does it not have to? It can't.
as long
go-
as we can meet the temperature, however we do it, then we're fine. There's a temperature requirement when you're taking these samples.
And it has to be recorded. It has to be.
But it
No,
has-
it has to be monitored. And so, we've got to have a thermometer in there where we're measuring the temperature all the time.
And it
that
has
means
to,
we're
what,
right
that
at-
thermometer has to show minimum, maximum?
It has to show the temperature, and I think it's,
It
I
can,
can't
4
remember what-
degrees Celsius.
yeah,
How much?
something like that.
It cannot go below.
So it has to record. That's my point. It has to be some kind of record.
No,
It can be
the,
visually observed.
yeah, we can put a thermometer in there, and every time we sample, Ken can run around and pick up bags of ice and pack it in there and try to make sure that we're reaching the temperature and all that.
But that's kind of what he does now.
Right,
And
right.
the DOE is aware of that, and they're.
But.
Goes back to my
the
question, what's a
alternative-
refrigerator?
I was thinking, I happened to run onto these, they have this new type of coolers they have out now, and I think that the one I saw was a Yeti of all things. And that thing was unbelievable, how it compares to the old.
They have the camping refrigerators down at REI where you stick the thing in the cigarette lighter on the car, and it has a temperature thing on the
This-
outside.
This has a device that draws the water out of the tank and puts it into a container. So the box that it sits in is refrigerated, it maintains a certain temperature, but it's also drawing water, and it has the ability to draw water every hour or,
Oh, it's not your guy out there dipping out?
No.
then?
No,
That's all
it's
done
done
by
over a
itself.
24-hour period. Is that not
Okay.
correct?
All
Yeah.
right, all right.
So
sampler, yeah.
So your guy isn't out there dipping to put it into a,
No, we have composite samplers out there now, they're just not refrigerated.
okay, all right, all right.
It's okay to say, we're better off just doing what he wants. I can live with that.
My recommendation to you would be to do what he asked.
Okay, yeah, we're getting.
And I'm not trying to give him undue power. I'm just saying that,
But you're being a realist.
yeah, this is typical in every wastewater treatment plant to have a refrigerated sampler. 15 years ago, you didn't think about it too much,
Sure.
but it's standard procedure now. Roger, I don't know.
No, I mean, all the analytical methods for testing and stuff have
Requirements.
There's specific requirements, and if you don't follow them, technically the test is invalid.
And it could really screw you with the test too, if it's the wrong temperature or isn't
Yeah, if he wants to be a jerk, he can come out here and be a jerk, right?
Absolutely.
He don't have to want to be, he already is.
is.
It's just another act
Reporting,
of
gentlemen,
bullying.
reporting, ladies and gentlemen.
Tell him right to his face, bring him in.
So when you compare this to telemetry at small potatoes, it's a wise investment in my opinion. It's a nice upgrade to the
Are there any estimates in here?
Let's go out there,
Here,
12,000.
12,000.
Two of them. I thought two of them were 12,000 each.
plug them in.
No.
Yeah.
They're about $6,000 a piece. You guys have a USA Blue Book account. It'd be purchased on your own USA Blue Book
And you
account.
can get this whole thing down in that.
Well, they'll sit up above. They sit on the ground.
So what happens to the little contraption we have there now?
Goes away.
But isn't there a
Put it on
bunch of
the
other
shelf
stuff
for-
underneath
Bill
there?
actually wanted those to draw beer into his recliner.
But isn't there other equipment underneath that box besides samplers?
Underneath the box.
I can't drink beer anymore, so I'm gonna will it to Robert.
I'll pass, thank you.
It looks like there were other valves and stuff underneath that box.
I'm not clear on what box you're talking about. I think
Where
that's-
that sampler is, right behind the office.
Right behind the office.
Behind
Yeah.
the contact chamber.
there's a pump in there.
Yeah.
So where would these go
It'll just sit next to it.
next to
Yeah.
it? So it doesn't, so that we have to have two?
One for
With
the
that
other.
Influent, the
effluent.
effluent, okay, duh, sorry.
I heard him say both places.
Yeah.
Okay, do I have a motion?
I don't like it.
It ain't gonna come from me. And my vote right now is no, so go on ahead.
Well. Well, there's no motion.
Wait a minute, the problem isn't going away, we've discussed it,
It's gonna come back at your inspection next year.
well. Yeah.
It may go up in price by next year too.
Nothing goes up in price, does it?
It is not going to go away.
Anything but social
Probably
security.
not.
Yeah, that's true.
When it comes back.
Yeah. Here,
Well, he'll be
right.
back out on a surprise visit to make
That's
sure
all,
we
that's all he
done
does is surprise visits.
Yeah, and that's what he'll do, that's what he's done in the past.
So it's in our
He
best
even came
interest.
the day, if you'll
Yes.
recall, that we were, the well that Tom was talking about. He came the day we were drilling the well standing right there, he came walking up there when we were there.
Yeah, but who did he come with?
Oh, yes, yeah, that's right, Tom.
Well, he's a unique character in my experience with.
Yeah, but he has somebody he answers to.
Yeah.
You know, is there any reason to believe that we have bad tests right now, other than what he says?
In fact, he hasn't even said we have a bad
He's
test.
not saying that we have bad tests, but you follow a different set of rules. You remember the OJ trials? What was that all about? I mean, that was, they questioned the testing, and unless they followed exactly the procedures, the test is invalid.
They got it in the end.
He could do that
Oh, they
if he
did?
wants to. He could
Yeah,
pop up here and
he
say,
can absolutely say that because, we weren't monitoring them correctly, that our tests are invalid.
Well, with what we have at risk, I'll move that we go ahead and purchase.
That's right, I've got 2 awards on the wall. I got 2 awards on the wall, I'm on a roll.
Oh,
or this-
well, I'm
the
not worried
treatment
about
plant
the
is.
awards, I'm trying to appease a jackass.
Okay, so your motion was to purchase,
This is not a useless expense for the treatment plant. It's a standard expense. It's,
Do we really need two?
we have to
Yes.
have 2 because we have to take it from the
Input and output.
incoming and outgoing.
and they would be there someday when they do the EBR, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
You
Regardless
change-
of the type of plant you have, you gotta do the testing.
Second the motion.
Coming in and going out.
Yeah.
There we go. First,
Wherever.
got a motion
I'll
and a
second it.
second. Well, we got already beat to the second.
Don't like it.
Okay,
No.
You made the
discussion on
motion?
it?
No.
Don't like it.
Don't like it? All right, all in favor?
Oh, wait, no.
Oh. Yeah, I said all in favor. You said yes or no?
Yeah, well, trying to get along
What do
with
we do?
people, my automatic response is, okay, let's do it. Give me the Vaseline.
Okay, so we have all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
All right, okay, opposed? All righty.
That'd be Tom, right? Tom, you're opposed.
No, are you opposing still? Okay.
Speak up when it,
Opposed!
There you go. All right, next one. Resolution?
yep, this is, we talked last month about closing out the PWTF account with the county, so this is a resolution. I have the original here tonight for signatures. It basically just closes out that Public Works Trust Fund loan account. There's no money in it, no cash, no investment, nothing. It's just a debt account.
I move approval of the resolution 05-2014, which closes out the PWTF account on our balance sheet.
Have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Next one, go over the Rogers rate study about the water. Everybody got a copy last week, and they got another copy in their packet this week. So you had a chance to review it again if you didn't review it the first time. Any questions, any comments, any motions, anything? Roger, want to say anything? Not much to say, is there? You pretty much put it all in writing here.
This is an excellent proposal, and I would highly recommend that you accept it.
I would like to discuss a few points about it though, because under the deliberative here, it says, that we'll do it, and I think it's well written, we understand, but when we first brought this up, one of the things we were concerned about, and I want to make sure we address it, and that is for the excessive water use. That was one of the reasons we talked about this.
One of the reasons, yes.
And another thing, Phil, water pipe breaks under Richard's house and he don't discover it for 3 weeks. He's gonna owe a fortune to the water district. And why are we talking about something that doesn't have to happen for the next 3 years?
Doesn't have to happen at all.
Doesn't have to happen at all.
Yeah, why are we even thinking about it?
Well, if I recall from hearing at the last one, was to talk about maybe increasing the water rates, because we're the cheapest around the state, or whatever the case may be, which doesn't really matter. And that also is going to make a difference on our hookup fee, correct? If we do the study and stuff, it can change our hookup fee.
Shouldn't.
It shouldn't?
Your hookup fee is a facilities charge to pay for the existing system.
Okay, so we're good with that.
Water rate pays for operations.
For operations.
Okay.
And you can roll capital projects in there too, if you want. It doesn't pay for the system that's already in the ground. Your rates don't pay for the system that's already in the ground.
Okay. Kelly, go ahead.
These studies generally cost in the tens of thousands of dollars. I don't ever remember us doing one. This is an excellent opportunity to get a look at our rates and making sure that we're charging rates at the right level. It's an analysis of it.
And I agree, he did an excellent job if we're gonna go to metered water. But unless there's a state law or a Mark Henderson rule that we've got to adopt this district to meters, why are we even considering it? I'm happy with what our profit is right now.
Okay, Richard, go ahead.
My understanding is if you produce this, not only is what the rate should be, because I know we're way under, and I don't want to debate that now because I don't care if we're way under. I think we're making plenty of money. But the finished product will be something like I saw over there. You should be charging $40 for 1,000 gallons, and then after that, $1 for every 2,000 gallons. Is that kind of what a finished product would look like?
Yeah.
Just to give me an idea.
Yeah, and I wouldn't assume that you're short.
I know.
I mean, your rates are low compared to other people, but that doesn't mean that you're losing money.
We're not, at least in my mind.
So, there might be some things that come up that, are educational that you didn't know before. If you wanted to charge a consumption rate, this is the way you would calculate it. So if you wanted to hit those high water users, this is how you would find out what to charge them.
If we wanted to.
If you want to.
If
Yeah,
we want
at the
to.
end of the rate
Right.
study, you guys can say, great, thank you, and be done. You don't have to adopt a new rate if you don't want
But
to.
we still own that rate study
Yes, yeah.
to use at any time we want.
And you just, the only requirement that you have, and Mark Anderson's not involved, Tom, because
No,
this is Department of Health.
Well, praise God for something, you know.
So you can sleep tonight. You do have to update your water system plan periodically, and one of the things that you have to do in there is show that you're financially viable. So, if you do this rate study, that would be one big step that says you are or you aren't, and you can adjust your rates so that you are.
I'm going to say another thing too, that you may think that you have a nice amount of money in the bank.
We don't, we know that.
Okay, but you don't. And if you have to replace a lot of pipe someplace, you're not going to have any money left.
And that's what's going to come out of this study.
Well, he's going to.
Yeah, we're gonna look at the whole existing system, which is old. Okay, and there's a certain amount of depreciation that ought to go into your rate, because eventually all the parts of the system will fail. So that's one of the things that will go into the rate is, and we can discuss how much of a depreciation charge, if any, that you want, and things that are coming up that might need to be replaced, and what the approximate cost of those things might be, and you can roll that in there, so when those things happen, you've already saved money for those items. And it doesn't, we're not talking about, we might need $1 million in 5 years. It's not gonna be something like that. So it would, last 3 or 4 years, you guys replaced a lot of your valves. Or added new valves where you needed them, and put in real T's, all those junctions and everything.
Every single one of
That
them.
would have been something that, would have been calculated in here if you knew what that cost was gonna be. That would go into your rates. As it was, you guys had money in your water fund, and you were able to pay for it outright. So, but there are other system components that might come up.
Okay,
And I'd just like to say too, going back to the flow-paced rate, that's good management, okay? Quite honestly, it is unfair for one person to be able to, use 100,000 gallons in a month, and everybody else is using 5,000 or 6,000 gallons in a month. And if you have enough of that going on, your infrastructure is going to end up having to be larger, and it's going to cost all of you more because of the way that person is handling water. So it's just like electricity. If I'm well, no, this is
Well,
real stuff.
I can still go after the high-end users without having this kind of rate.
absolutely.
This is not, it's not dependent on that, but it's at least gives you an idea of where to go.
And not that I disagree with you, I totally agree with
Okay.
everything you're saying. I'm just not so sure I want to spend $7,200 for a document I know I'm not going to use.
I think you'll use it.
You're not going to get my vote. I don't think you're going to get.
I don't think you're gonna get the vote of anybody in here that has to pay the bill. Because like I said, there's no protection built in for an emergency. You used 1 billion gallons of water, you owe us.
No, we can
That's not
fix that.
necessarily true, that can be fixed.
That can be
yeah.
fixed.
That's a different subject anyway. It's a different subject.
Okay, so
So
I didn't really review the rate thing as much as I probably should have, but, okay, I live with my wife at the house, we don't have anybody else. Okay, there's a person down the street that's got 5 kids and 2 adults living there. So I don't understand how the rate's gonna be established for the small end user versus that. Would I receive in that plan as much water as the people down the street with the 5 kids and the couple?
Well, it's usually broken up into blocks. So everyone will pay the same base charge. Okay, the base charge pays for the static cost of the district. That's just having things, the
The fixed
administration, the meter
costs.
reading, the fixed cost for the system.
Plus
Then there were-
some water.
Huh? Yes. And so then, like the first block might be for those people that use from 0 to, I don't know, 20,000 gallons a month, they pay a rate of X dollars per gallon or X dollars per 100 gallons or what have you.
Which would be kind of a
And
base
that-
rate
That,
for that.
that's your base consumption block. That's your lowest block. And so
That's-
basically, or you could set just a single rate and say that if anybody in this block, they all pay the same amount. But, and that block is going to be based upon what might, pick a number. It could be your average water use, maybe a little more than your average water use. So it won't even change for most people. But then when you go into the next block where the higher users are, then they have to pay additional for that extra water that they're using above, quote, the average.
Your block system is a little different. Are you aware of their system next door? It's $35 flat fee. You get 500 gallons with that $35, and you pay
Right, that's the
$1
first-
for every 1,000 gallons after
Yeah,
that.
that's the first block.
What, 500 gallons?
Yeah, 500 gallons. 0 to 500 would be the first block. That costs you a set amount. You say 35, fine,
$35.
The second block, they just charge it out
1,000 gallons for
per 1,000 gallons or whatever.
But
Does
we
it
get to set the
necess-
blocks. We get to set
Yeah.
the usage and
Absolutely. And you
everything.
could set
Yeah.
2 blocks, you could set
Right.
10 blocks. You could, the rate could be $1 per 1,000 in the second block. It could be $10 per 1,000 in the third block. It could be $1,000 per 1,000 in the fourth block. If you have, if you had like a DuPont chemical company and they're taking all your water or something, you wanted to hammer it, you could do that.
Right.
So you get to set it.
Our only thing in the past is this board, not necessarily this, well, pretty much this board, has informally come up with the idea that we're not gonna judge between him and his wife and him and his wife with 5 kids, as long as they stayed at 10,000. I mean, if you
A
look at
certain
it,
number.
our number here has been about 10,000 gallons. As long as everybody stayed under that, we were fine. Now we're getting these 300,000. That's what we want to deal with. We're not so much running a business atmosphere where let's get as much money as we can. We stayed away from that. He doesn't like that idea. I understand that.
No,
That's
and
okay.
that's not what I'm suggesting, and that's not what a rate study suggests, but there is a cost for producing water, whether it be an energy cost, maintenance cost, wear and tear on the system, whatever, there is a cost. And
It's ongoing.
it's ongoing every single day. If your wells have to pump 1 million gallons a day, that costs more money than if they pump 800,000 gallons a day. There's energy costs and there's wear and tear on the pumps. Okay, so there's a cost to producing more water.
Kelly.
If you wanted to try and recoup some of those costs, or to sort of force people into conservation so that your system doesn't wear and tear as much, that's kind of the purpose of consumption rate.
Sorry, go ahead.
And that's a little bit of a different story. Right now, you don't know if you're charging the right rate under any circumstance. This will tell you this is what you should be charging. So even if you don't want to do a consumption-based rate, you'll at least know through this study what your rate should be. Yes?
Yeah.
So right now, you could be undercharging people or overcharging people $10.
Okay, what does our small water district plan say?
It doesn't address rates.
It doesn't address rates.
It just states
Just
what they
states
are.
the
Yeah.
rates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think
So,
we're-
so, I mean, it's, you need to be double checking and making sure that you're charging the right rates moving into the future. And this is a way to do that. Whether you want to use it on flow paste or not is a secondary issue in my mind.
Right, that's true. Just,
But right now, you don't know if you're depreciating things properly, if you're putting enough money away every year for replacement. You got a lot of unknowns, and you could end up having to go back to the people and say, "Hey, we need to replace 1,000 feet of pipe, and it's going to cost us $500,000 more than we thought. We're going to have to collect, $5,000 from each of you at an assessment," and that's not a fun thing to do. It's easier to get it a little bit at a time through the rates.
Just how about raising the rates, $10 a month?
How do you know, Tom? You don't know. That's the problem.
yeah.
That's the advantage of the study. It would
Yeah.
say if and when you ever decided to do it, then you have the basis. And where it applies to the small district water plan, there is a question in there that says something to the base that we have something to justify the rates that we're charging.
Well, you're on the edge of being financially viable. It's generally 500 customers or more.
Yeah.
So you really have to pay close attention to your spending and your income.
So what would be the recommendation for the base rate?
That's gonna be based upon the numbers.
He has to do an analysis. He'll look at everybody in the system, what the average use is,
All
what
the
the budgets
costs.
are, and then come up with the recommendations that you pick out.
Is it-
Yeah, he doesn't tell us what to charge.
Yeah, there are
He's just giving you
there are some
recommendations.
assumptions that will go into it that I'll have to pass by the board and get your understanding and your, I guess, approval to make that assumption or to change that assumption or what have you, so that we know where we're going.
Are we set in this when we start looking at this thing and questioning it, if we go ahead? Are we gonna be saying all of a sudden then, instead of 7,200, there's gonna be added charges because there was additional stuff to do because of the questions we asked? Or are we saying, we're gonna get the study and then we can determine how it goes for $7,200?
Not to exceed
You
$7,200.
mean to ask me to do more
Yeah.
in the study? I wouldn't worry about that.
Well,
I think he's asking if your rate of 7,200 is inclusive,
Yeah.
all inclusive. So if you come back to a meeting and ask some more questions, get some more answers, are you going to charge them additionally for that, or is that all
He's up here every
inclusive of the
month. Yeah.
7,200?
Not
Right.
unless,
okay, but
not
I
the
unless,
think
we-
so,
question
but
needs
I
to be
think-
asked.
yes.
yeah, no, not unless
So-
we don't generally ask for more money unless
No,
we
I know you
go
don't.
grossly out of scope,
Yeah.
so.
And you don't get grossly out of scope very much.
But, you know, and Kelly's comment that this is a good price, you know, we don't, Gray and Osborne, when we do engineering studies, we don't put a lot of glitz and glory into the presentation of them. I mean, I've been to utility district and city council meetings before where, you know, it looks like there's 3 attorneys up there talking
Yeah.
to you in your rate study, and then you find out how much they charge, and you just can't believe it.
Well, I tend to go along with what Richard said. I can't see $7,100 for something we may or may not use. But I don't know. The opening comment tonight was we have almost $41,000 owed to us by the ratepayers here. And I don't know.
Well, it's here. This is what everybody's kind of talking about. Are we gonna proceed forward? I'm for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna move. I have mixed emotions, but I think we ought to know where in the hell we stand.
I mean, what have we done to the water system this year? I mean, last year we did valves and everything.
Well, we still gotta do the tanks.
One of the reasons I kept pushing for the valves,
Well, it was a good thing to do, there's no question
You
about
know.
it, but
And I
It
do wanna
needed to
have
be
the
done.
basics
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
being able to settle some of this.
Ken couldn't even turn some of them off. Or he could turn them down to where they still on and running.
Well, to move on, I'll move that we accept this estimate and continue with this amount, in the amount of $7,200.
okay, now I need a second. It's gonna die of a lack of a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, we got a second. More discussion?
At this point, my only comment would be, I'd like to get the other 2 things bought and have a little more time to be convinced on this, because I know we're not going to use the document. I know it would be a nice piece of information to have, but, I mean, what do I need the information if I'm not going to use it? And if we're not going to use it, why do it?
Budget's next month.
I don't agree with that.
Well,
You know, that's my comment.
Okay, but I don't wanna put it off. Vote yea or nay now on the basis of what we're doing, and then we can go from there.
That was my comment.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, all in favor?
Bye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna tie break, I say aye.
So pass, 3-2.
So pass.
Okay. Next.
Good discussion, and I'm sure it's gonna get better later.
No. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, let's go around. Roger's just starting on this
We
one.
did it, yeah.
Can you get the?
Okay,
Hey, Robert, across the way, they spent $20,000 on a race day.
Yeah, I know they did.
oh, really?
And they're
I
talking,
didn't
Oh,
wanna
sure,
say-
Roger's sitting there like, great, I could've come.
Yeah, yeah. I was, kicking and saying, "Can you raise the price a little bit?"
no.
Thursday, right? Thursday?
For Thursday at 6:30.
Okay, I'll see you there.
Alrighty, rate study done. Tom, you just drew your. Okay, the last item on the
Might have.
agenda. Brenda, over to you. Credit account 20006.
Did everybody have a chance to read the memo in your board packet?
Sure did.
So any questions on the memo? I kind of think it's self-explanatory.
I'll move approval to credit the gentleman's account $100.
A second?
Second?
Discussion?
Does everybody understand it? Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Opposed? And abstain.
Okay.
Let me get the opposed out there first.
Well, I have to. I don't have any choice.
I'm not so sure this Thursday's the fourth Thursday. We might have had that meeting last week.
Okay.
This is a weird month the way it
Oh, it
falls.
started on
Okay.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Thursday
So
was
I think
last
you-
week.
I think you missed the meeting this month. though.
Okay, see you next month.
Yeah.
So, anything else, any further business? I need a motion to adjourn the meeting, or conclude the meeting, or whatever you want to call it.
I move that we conclude the meeting.
Second, all in favor? Aye.